Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel. Thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. My wrist is 16 centimeters circumference, and the watch requires no introduction. This is the IWC Portuguese Automatic, reference 5007-01. Alright, I gave it an introduction, but frankly, the watch is recognizable as an iconic IWC on site. If you're going to own an IWC, you want a Pilot or a Portuguese. Everything else is peripheral. Enjoyable, but peripheral. This is like the Submariner to Rolex, or the Speedmaster Professional to Omega. Now the timepiece is handsome and wearable. Though 42 millimeters in diameter, it's actually 42.3 if we take the guidance of the unerringly precise German, Swiss, and Schaffhausen. It's not a thick watch, however. The timepiece is only 14.3 millimeters thick with a bit of a concave bezel that will allow a cuff to slide up and over. It's actually a surprisingly sleeve-friendly big watch. Lug-to-lug, the watch is handsomely splayed and spanned, but it is a reasonable 50.3 millimeter lug-to-lug dimension. I often say smaller male wrists between 14 and 16.5 centimeters circumference want 50 millimeters or fewer lug-to-lug, and this watch actually delivers on that count. Broad and handsome lug spacing of 22 millimeters, so the watch has a modern and wide footing. The 5007 reference debuted in 2015, IWC's most recent year of the Portuguese. IWC refreshes one model line a year, and you can see that the watch has a strap to match the sense of occasion. It's a medium brown, large rectangular scale alligator leather semi-gloss finish. It's bolstered down its center. It has a folded edge with a monotone stitch, black calfskin on the underside with a wonderfully rich IWC factory clasp. You can see it's a combination of polished bevels and satin finish top. It even has a blasted and relieved logo with blasted center and polished and relieved probus scapucia and IWC. You can see inside more media blasting and the timepiece with a very generous amount of gold invested in this clasp. This is a heavy clasp that works to counterweight the heavy watch on the wrist. Just like a substantial bracelet can counterweight a heavy watch and prevent it from moving around or capsizing on the wrist, so too does a large and substantial clasp do that for a timepiece. Now the case band is distinctive. We know the Portuguese has always been about the Art Deco integrated lugs, much like its fellow Art Deco contemporary, the reference 96 Patek Calatrava. It blends the case band with the lug. There's nice contrast though. Longitudinal satin finish, polished lug hoods, polished case back, polished vertical lip to the bezel, and that's before the bezel jumps back with a concave facing. Again, much like many Patek references to pair the visual mass. You can see the crown with the IWC logo and motto. And then this watch is effectively all about the dial. IWC Portuguese watches are always maximum dial, minimum bezel. The bezel always melts away, and in this case, almost like a rose gold halo. The dial is what would be called opaline. It's a frosted, lightly grained silver metallic, but not an explosive sunburst. You can see it has sunken registers with a small railroad track for constant seconds at 9 and a larger sector-style track for the 7-day power reserve at 3 o'clock. Nicely split by a faceted date window at 6 o'clock. The watch has handsome top-to-bottom bilateral symmetry with Portuguese appropriate and historically correct leaf or foy style hands in rose gold at center. All of the numerals here are applique, Arabic numerals, with applique indices outboard. Again, this is true to the model line's history, and there's a railroad track outboard to read the minutes precisely. The timepiece does feature the latest rendition of IWC's long-running 5000, 50,000 series movement. Let me see if I can get this one closer and in better focus. Okay, this is caliber 52010. 7-day power reserve, automatic winding, oversized movement. This is the world's largest automatic caliber. It's a manufacturer movement. Changes from the previous 50,000 series are many. First of all, this one goes from a 21,600 beat rate to a 28.8 beat rate, so it's a modern 4 Hz 8 beat per second movement. Instead of the one large mainspring barrel, which caused the watch to run too quickly when fully wound and too slowly when almost discharged, IWC replaced the large single with two separate barrels that have a different power release. The springs are actually different. So one of them helps keep the watch strong at minimum wind, and the other one helps to slow down the release of power when the watch is at maximum wind. It's a better timekeeper. It's adjusted in 5 positions like a chronometer, and it features another innovation, New to this series, a full ceramic bidirectional IWC pawl-based Peloton winding system. The Peloton has always been very tough and efficient. If it had one flaw, that was its tendency to create dirt on the movement. Well, with the full unlubricated pawls and wheel, you no longer have that problem. It's a zero sediment arrangement. You can see the watch does feature hacking or stop seconds, and that now 28,800 vibration per hour balance is both free sprung for shock resistance and blessed with an overcoil hairspring to help it better keep time in every orientation with respect to gravity, to help it beat concentrically. 31 joule movement, nicely finished. You can see engine turning on the base plate, polished screw heads, and a large circular Cote de Genève with an IWC rose gold blasted and relieved medallion inside the rotor itself. This is a timepiece that puts it all together. If you want something approaching the ultimate everyday Portuguese, this is it. Reference 5007-01, 42.3 millimeters in red gold. See it on the watch box.